Hadīth 34. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when the day of resurrection approaches, the dreams of a believer will hardly fail to come true, and a dream of a believer is one of 46 parts of prophetism, and whatever belongs to prophetism can never be false. Muhammad bin Sirin said, but I say this. He said, it used to be said, there are 3 types of dreams: the reflection of one's thoughts and experiences one has during wakefulness, what is suggested by Satan to frighten the dreamer, or glad tidings from Allah. So, if someone has a dream which he dislikes, he should not tell it to others, but get up and offer a prayer. He added, he, Abu Hurairah, hated to see a gul, that is, iron collar around his neck in a dream, and people like to see fetters on their feet in a dream. The fetters on the feet symbolizes one's constant and firm adherence to religion. And Abu Abdullāh said, guls, iron collars, are used only for necks. Hadīth 35. Narrated Kharijah bin Zayd bin Thabit, al-Allah, an Ansari woman who had given the pledge of allegiance to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Uthman bin Maz'un came in our share when the Ansar drew lots to distribute the emigrants, to dwell among themselves. He became sick and we looked after, nursed him till he died. Then we shrouded him in his clothes. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came to us, addressing the dead body, said, May Allah's mercy be on you, O Aba as-Sa'ib. I testify that Allah has honored you. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, How do you know that? I replied, I do not know, by Allah. He said, As for him, death has come to him and I wish him all good from Allah. By Allah, though I am Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, I neither know what will happen to me, nor to you. Allah said, By Allah, I will never attest the righteousness of anybody after that. She added, Later I saw in a dream, a flowing spring for Uthman. So I went to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and mentioned that to him. He said, That is, the symbol of his good deeds, the reward for which is going on for him. Hadīth 36. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw in a dream that, while I was standing at a well and drawing water therefrom, suddenly Abu Bakr and Umar came to me. Abu Bakr took the bucket and drew 1 or 2 buckets, full of water, but there was weakness in his pulling, but Allah forgave him. Then Ibn al-Khattab took the bucket from Abu Bakr's hand and the bucket turned into a very large one in his hand. I have never seen any strong man among the people doing such a hard job as Umar did, till the people drank to their satisfaction, and watered their camels to their fill and they sat near the water. Hadīth 37. Narrated Salim's father about the Prophet's dream in which he had seen Abu Bakr and Umar. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw, in a dream, that the people had gathered. Then Abu Bakr stood up and pulled out 1 or 2 buckets full of water, from a well, and there was weakness in his pulling, may Allah forgive him. Then Ibn al-Khattab stood up, and the bucket turned into a very large one, and I have never seen any strong man among the people doing such a hard job. He pulled out so much water that the people drank to their satisfaction, and watered their camels to their fill, and then after quenching their thirst, they sat beside the water. Hadīth 38. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, While I was sleeping, I saw myself standing at a well over which there was a bucket. I pulled out from it as many buckets of water as Allah wished, and then Ibn Abi Quhafa, Abu Bakr, took the bucket from me and pulled out 1 or 2 full buckets, and there was weakness in his pull, may Allah forgive him. Then the bucket turned into a very large one and Umar bin al-Khattab took it. I have never seen any strong man among the people drawing water with such strength as Umar did, till the people drank to their satisfaction and watered their camels to their fill, whereupon the camels sat beside the water. Hadīth 39. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, while I was sleeping, I saw myself standing over a tank, well, giving water to the people to drink. Then Abu Bakr came to me and took the bucket from me in order to relieve me, and he pulled out 1 or 2 full buckets, and there was weakness in his pulling, may Allah forgive him. Then Ibn al-Khattab took it from him and went on drawing water till the people left, after being satisfied, while the tank was overflowing with water. Hadīth 40. Narrated Abu Hurairah, we were sitting with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, while I was sleeping, I saw myself in paradise. Suddenly I saw a woman performing ablution beside a palace. I asked, for whom is this palace? They, the angels, replied, it is for Umar bin al-Khattab. Then I remembered Umar's gira and went back hurriedly. On hearing that, Umar started weeping and said, let my father and mother be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. How dare I think of my gira being offended by you? Hadīth 41. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullāh, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw in a dream that, I entered paradise, and behold, there was a palace built of gold. I asked, for whom is this palace? They, the angels, replied, for a man from the Quraysh. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, O Ibn al-Khattab. Nothing stopped me from entering it except your gira. Umar said, how dare I think of my gira being offended by you, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hadīth 42. Narrated Abu Hurairah, we were sitting with Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, while I was sleeping, I saw myself in paradise, and behold, a woman was performing ablution by the side of a palace. I asked, for whom is this palace? They replied, for Umar. Then I remembered the gira of Umar and returned immediately. Umar wept, on hearing that, and said, let my father and mother be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. How dare I think of my gira being offended by you? Hadīth 43. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, while I was sleeping, I saw myself performing the Tawaf of the Kaaba. Behold, there I saw a whitish-red lank-haired man, holding himself, between 2 men with water dropping from his hair. I asked, who is this? The people replied, he is the son of Mary. Then I turned my face to see another man with red complexion, big body, curly hair, and blind in the right eye which looked like a protruding out grape. I asked, who is he? They replied, he is ad-Dajjal. Ibn Qatan resembles him more than anybody else among the people, and Ibn Qatan was a man from Bani al-Mustalik from Khuzāh. Hadīth 44. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, while I was sleeping, I saw a bowl full of milk was brought to me, and I drank of it, to my fill, till I noticed its wetness flowing, in my body. Then I gave the remaining of it to Umar. They asked, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. What have you interpreted, about the dream? He said, it is religious, knowledge. Hadīth 45. Narrated Ibn Umar, men from the companions of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, used to see dreams during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and they used to narrate those dreams to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, would interpret them as Allah wished. I was a young man and used to stay in the mosque before my wedlock. I said to myself, if there were any good in myself, I too would see what these people see. So when I went to bed one night, I said, O Allah, if you see any good in me, show me a good dream. So while I was in that state, there came to me, in a dream, 2 angels. In the hand of each of them, there was a mace of iron, and both of them were taking me to hell, and I was between them, invoking Allah, O Allah. I seek refuge with you from hell. Then I saw myself being confronted by another angel holding a mace of iron in his hand. He said to me, "Do not be afraid, you will be an excellent man if you only pray more often." So they took me till they stopped me at the edge of hell, and behold, it was built inside like a well, and it had side posts like those of a well, and beside each post there was an angel carrying an iron mace. I saw therein many people hanging upside down with iron chains, and I recognized therein some men from the Quraysh. Then, the angels took me to the right side. I narrated this dream to my sister, Hafsa, and she told it to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "No doubt, Abdullāh is a good man." Nafi said, "Since then Abdullāh bin Umar used to pray much." Hadīth 46. Narrated Ibn Umar, I was a young unmarried man during the lifetime of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. I used to sleep in the mosque. Anyone who had a dream would narrate it to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. I said, "O Allah, if there is any good for me with you, then show me a dream so that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, may interpret it for me." So I slept and saw, in a dream, 2 angels came to me and took me along with them, and they met another angel who said to me, "Don't be afraid, you are a good man." They took me towards the fire, and behold, it was built inside like a well, and therein I saw people some of whom I recognized, and then the angels took me to the right side. In the morning, I mentioned that dream to Hafsa. Hafsa told me that she had mentioned it to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, "Abdullāh is a righteous man, if he only prays more at night." Az-Zuhri said, after that, Abdullāh used to pray more at night. Hadīth 47. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, while I was sleeping, I saw that a cup full of milk was brought to me and I drank of it and gave the remaining of it to Umar bin al-Khattab. They asked, "What have you interpreted about the dream, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him?" The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "It is religious knowledge." Hadīth 48. Narrated Ubaydullah bin Abdullah, I asked Ibn Abbas about the dream of Allah's Messenger which he mentioned. See following Hadīth. Hadīth 49. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, while I was sleeping, 2 golden bangles were put in my 2 hands, so I got scared, frightened, and disliked it, but I was given permission to blow them off, and they flew away. I interpret it as a symbol of 2 liars who will appear. Ubaydullah said, one of them was Al-Ansi who was killed by Fayruz at Yemen, and the other was Musaylimah, at Najd. Hadīth 50. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw in a dream that I was migrating from Mecca to a land where there were date palm trees. I thought that it might be the land of Al-Yamamah or Hajar, but behold, it turned out to be Yathrib, that is, Medina. And I saw cows being slaughtered there, but the reward given by Allah is better than worldly benefits. Behold, those cows proved to symbolize the believers, who were killed, on the day of the battle of Uhud, and the good, which I saw in the dream, was the good and the reward and the truth which Allah bestowed upon us after the Badr battle, or the battle of Uhud, and that was the victory bestowed by Allah in the battle of Khaybar and the conquest of Makkah. Hadīth 51. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, we, Muslims, are the last to come, but will be the foremost on the day of resurrection. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, further said, while sleeping, I was given the treasures of the world and 2 golden bangles were put in my hands, but I felt much annoyed, and those 2 bangles distressed me very much, but I was inspired that I should blow them off, so I blew them and they flew away. Then I interpreted that those 2 bangles were the liars between whom I was, that is, the one of Sana'a and the one of Yamamah. Hadīth 52. Narrated Abdullāh, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw, in a dream, a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling at Mahya, that is, Al-Jufa. I interpreted that as a symbol of epidemic of Medina being transferred to that place, Al-Jufa. Hadīth 53. Narrated Abdullāh bin Umar concerning the dream of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in Medina, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw, in a dream, a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling at Mahya. I interpreted that as a symbol of the epidemic of Medina being transferred to Mahya, namely, Al-Jufa. Hadīth 54. Narrated Salam's father, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw, in a dream, a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling in Mahya. I interpreted that as a symbol of epidemic of Medina being transferred to Mahya, namely, Al-Jufa. Hadīth 55. Narrated Abu Musa, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I saw in a dream that I waved a sword and it broke in the middle, and behold, that symbolized the casualties the believers suffered on the day of the battle of Uhud. Then I waved the sword again, and it became better than it had ever been before, and behold, that symbolized the conquest of Makkah, which Allah brought about, and the gathering of the believers. Hadīth 56. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever claims to have seen a dream which he did not see, will be ordered to make a knot between two barley grains which he will not be able to do, and if somebody listens to the talk of some people who do not like him, to listen, or they run away from him, then molten lead will be poured into his ears on the day of resurrection, and whoever makes a picture, will be punished on the day of resurrection and will be ordered to put a soul in that picture, which he will not be able to do. Ibn Abbas also narrated a similar hadith. Hadīth 57. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the worst lie is that a person claims to have seen a dream which he has not seen. Hadīth 58. Narrated Abu Salama, I used to see a dream which would make me sick till I heard Abu Qatada saying, I too, used to see a dream which would make me sick till I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, a good dream is from Allah, so if any one of you saw a dream which he liked, he should not tell it to anybody except to the one whom he loves, and if he saw a dream which he disliked, then he should seek refuge with Allah from its evil and from the evil of Satan, and spit 3 times, on his left, and should not tell it to anybody, for it will not harm him. Hadīth 59. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, if any one of you saw a dream which he liked, then that was from Allah, and he should thank Allah for it and tell it to others. But if he saw something else, that is, a dream which he did not like, then that is from Satan and he should seek refuge with Allah from it and should not tell it to anybody, for it will not harm him. Hadīth 60. Narrated Ibn Abbas, a man came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, I saw in a dream, a cloud having shade. Butter and honey were dropping from it and I saw the people gathering it in their hands, some gathering much and some a little. And behold, there was a rope extending from the earth to the sky, and I saw that you, the Prophet, held it and went up, and then another man held it and went up and, after that, another, third, held it and went up, and then after another, fourth, man held it, but it broke and then got connected again. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Let my father be sacrificed for you. Allow me to interpret this dream. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, interpret it. Abu Bakr said, the cloud with shade symbolizes Islam, and the butter and honey dropping from it symbolizes the Quran, its sweetness dropping and some people learning much of the Quran and some a little. The rope which is extended from the sky to the earth is the truth which you, the Prophet, are following. You follow it and Allah will raise you high with it, and then another man will follow it and will rise up with it, and another person will follow it, and then another man will follow it, but it will break and then it will be connected for him and he will rise up with it. O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Let my father be sacrificed for you. Am I right or wrong? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, You are right in some of it and wrong in some. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Prophet, by Allah, you must tell me in what I was wrong. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do not swear. Hadīth 61. Narrated Samurah bin Jundub, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, very often used to ask his companions, Did any one of you see a dream? So dreams would be narrated to him by those whom Allah wished to tell. One morning, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Last night, 2 persons came to me, in a dream, and woke me up and said to me, Proceed. I set out with them and we came across a man lying down, and behold, another man was standing over his head, holding a big rock. Behold, he was throwing the rock at the man's head, injuring it. The rock rolled away and the thrower followed it and took it back. By the time he reached the man, his head returned to the normal state. The thrower then did the same as he had done before. I said to my 2 companions, Subhanallah. Who are these 2 persons? They said, Proceed. So we proceeded and came to a man lying flat on his back and another man standing over his head with an iron hook, and behold, he would put the hook in one side of the man's mouth and tear off that side of his face to the back of the neck, and similarly tear his nose from front to back, and his eye from front to back. Then he turned to the other side of the man's face and did just as he had done with the other side. He hardly completed this side when the other side returned to its normal state. Then he returned to it to repeat what he had done before. I said to my 2 companions, Subhanallah. Who are these 2 persons? They said to me, Proceed. So we proceeded and came across something like a tanur, a kind of baking oven, a pit usually clay-lined for baking bread. I think the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, In that oven there was much noise and voices. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, We looked into it and found naked men and women, and behold, a flame of fire was reaching to them from underneath, and when it reached them, they cried loudly. I asked them, Who are these? They said to me, Proceed. And so we proceeded and came across a river. I think he said, red like blood. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, And behold, in the river there was a man swimming, and on the bank there was a man who had collected many stones. Behold, while the other man was swimming, he went near him. The former opened his mouth and the latter, on the bank, threw a stone into his mouth whereupon he went swimming again. He returned and every time the performance was repeated. I asked my 2 companions, Who are these 2 persons? They replied, Proceed. Proceed. And we proceeded till we came to a man with a repulsive appearance, the most repulsive appearance you ever saw a man having. Beside him there was a fire and he was kindling it and running around it. I asked my companions, Who is this man? They said to me, Proceed. Proceed. So we proceeded till we reached a garden of deep green dense vegetation, having all sorts of spring colors. In the midst of the garden there was a very tall man and I could hardly see his head because of his great height, and around him there were children in such a large number as I have never seen. I said to my companions, Who is this? They replied, Proceed. Proceed. So we proceeded till we came to a majestic huge garden, greater and better than I have ever seen. My 2 companions said to me, Go up, and I went up. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, So we ascended till we reached a city built of gold and silver bricks and we went to its gate and asked, the gatekeeper, to open the gate, and it was opened and we entered the city, and found in it men with one side of their bodies as handsome as the handsomest person you have ever seen, and the other side as ugly as the ugliest person you have ever seen. my two companions ordered those men to throw themselves into the river. Behold, there was a river flowing across the city, and its water was like milk in whiteness. Those men went and threw themselves in it and then returned to us after the ugliness of their bodies had disappeared and they became in the best shape. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, further added, my two companions, angels, said to me, this place is the Eden paradise, and that is your place. I raised up my sight, and behold, there I saw a palace like a white cloud. My two companions said to me, that palace is your place. I said to them, may Allah bless you both. Let me enter it. They replied, as for now, you will not enter it, but you shall enter it, one day. I said to them, I have seen many wonders tonight. What does all that mean which I have seen? They replied, we will inform you. As for the first man you came upon whose head was being injured with the rock, he is the symbol of the one who studies the Quran and then neither recites it nor acts on its orders, and sleeps, neglecting the enjoined prayers. As for the man you came upon whose sides of mouth, nostrils and eyes were torn off from front to back, he is the symbol of the man who goes out of his house in the morning and tells so many lies that it spreads all over the world. And those naked men and women whom you saw in a construction resembling an oven, they are the adulterers and the adulteresses. And the man whom you saw swimming in the river and given a stone to swallow, is the eater of usury, riba. And the bad-looking man whom you saw near the fire kindling it and going round it is Malik, the gatekeeper of hell. And the tall man whom you saw in the garden is Abraham, and the children around him are those children who die with al-Fitrah, the Islamic faith. The narrator added, some Muslims asked the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. What about the children of pagans? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied, and also the children of pagans. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, my two companions added, the men you saw half handsome and half ugly were those persons who had mixed an act that was good with another that was bad, but Allah forgave them.